The producers and distributors of Tech AV technical training aids welcome you to this program in the Refrigeration Maintenance Series. This program will deal with certain service and maintenance procedures that you would typically have to perform upon a semi-hermetic air-cooled condensing unit. In this program you will be shown how to connect and use a typical gauge manifold, how to perform a pressure and leakage test using leak detection devices, and you will learn how to conduct an evacuation procedure. Let us begin now as we look at our gauge manifold set. You will be using such instruments extensively during your practical work. Gauges are invaluable aids to charging a system and diagnosing system operations. So, let's spend a little time studying this unit. Firstly, we see that there are two gauges. This gauge, on our left, is called a compound gauge. This gauge registers both positive pressure and vacuum. The compound gauge always connects to the low pressure side of a system. The gauge on our right is called the high pressure gauge. This gauge is always connected to the high pressure side of a system. On the manifold, there are three hose connections. To these connections we attach the necessary test hoses. The connections are referred to as the low pressure connection beneath the compound gauge, the high pressure connection beneath the high pressure gauge, and between these two, the common connection. At each end of the manifold we have hand controls, blue for the low side and red for the high side. The hand controls are used to control the flow of refrigerant or gas to or from the various connector ports. When both controls are closed, no flow can occur between the common port and the low and high connectors. When the low control is opened, flow can occur between the common port and the low side connector. When the high side is open but the low side closed, flow will only occur between the common port and the high side connection. If both controls are opened, flow will occur between all the ports and connections. To connect the gauge manifold to a typical unit, we use test hoses, sometimes called charging hoses. Test hoses are designed to be used with refrigerants and other compatible products. They are able to withstand high pressures and deep vacuum. No other types of hose may be used. For convenience and easy recognition, the blue hose is connected to the low pressure connection, the yellow hose to the common connection, and the red to the high pressure connection. Test hoses are usually kept attached to the manifold. When we are not actually using the unit, the free ends must be connected to dummy spigots. This prevents dirt or contaminants entering. Test hoses must never be left open and lying about. This could cause major problems by introducing contamination. Typically, on a semi-hermetic condensing unit, test hoses are connected to service ports situated on a compressor's service valves. The low-pressure hose is connected to the suction side service port, and the high-pressure hose to the discharge side service port. The yellow or common test hose may be attached to any external source, such as a service cylinder, vacuum pump, or nitrogen regulator. Connection of all test hoses is made without tools. Tighten a connection by hand only. After the break, we shall look at how to set up the service valves.